Dan hello semua, selamat datang ke episod pertama Arus Podcast, as we want to call it. I don't know, we might change the name later. I'm Alina, I'm a teacher, I'm a mom, I also work at Arus. Dan untuk episod pertama for this podcast, we decided that we are going to talk about a topic yang bagi kami di Arus still sangat hangat lah. And it's about the number one show in Malaysia and Astro when it first came out, Projek High Council. So the phenomena yang dibawa oleh siri ni memang, to me, I feel is memang luar biasa. Ramai yang tengok show ni kata tak habis-habis puji the lakonan, the jalan cerita, the character development, and a lot of them were sharing about how much they could relate to the show, which is great. And at the same time, me as an educator, with my educator friends, we talk about Projek High Council a lot as well, but not so much in the context of jalan cerita ke apa, but more of the impact of it on our students that we see in school. So ada rasa risau, ada rasa ragu-ragu, ada a lot of questions like, kenapa diorang buat Projek High Council ni? Why did they tell this story? And that's why we wanted to bring together a bunch of different people in the same room to share our opinions and pandangan. So today kita ada beberapa guests yang akan berkongsi pandangan, pengalaman, pendapat mereka tentang kesan, tentang reaksi, and also like the impact of this show, right? How far did it go beyond the art scene? So maybe we can go around and introduce ourselves. Maybe your name, a little background, like what are you doing at the moment? Your relationship with the show. Korang ni penulis ke, peminat ke, penonton ke? Okay, we can go with Anwari first.
Hi, nama saya Anwari. I'm the creator and showrunner of Projek High Council. Currently, I'm still a filmmaker and a writer, mostly a writer. And that's it, I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
My relationship with Projek High Council is, despite having the one who created it, it came out of because I came from that background. And one of the questions I get a lot, and actually got asked off screen tadi, was you kapla ke dulu tak? So I came creating Projek High Council from a very neutral place, where sebenarnya I wasn't budak jahat, I wasn't budak baik juga, but I was also I boleh ngam dengan semua orang. Budak jahat suka I, budak baik gila pun suka I. But at the same time, yang paling penting for me is actually me processing what happened. Yeah, because as writers, that's how we process our own thoughts and emotions. We write.
Yeah, I think that makes you like the best storyteller lah, because you're not part of one or the other. You're like the observer of what's happening.
I try not to be biased lah. Yeah.
Okay, all right, Zulaikha.
Hi, my name is Zulaikha. Sorry, I tak membantu today. Sorry. I am the co-director and also one of the writer for Projek High Council. And when Anwari first pitched the idea and he reached out to me, basically I was a part of the team when the idea was being made. But it wasn't my idea to co-direct at all. I directed a long time ago, left it for a while because I was scared of it, and then start writing for Astro. And then now when he offered the position to me to co-direct with him, I just go, ni tak logic, right? Because I'm not budak asrama. That's first one, to key. I tak budak asrama. I have no insights when it comes to that. And two, you're doing a bunch of boys fighting stuff. How am I relevant? But then in writer's room, I realized there's a lot of things that was being brought up, right? And I think where I come from and how what Anwari kind of made everyone in the room did lah kan. We managed to talk about not just how if you budak asrama you boleh relate, just technically growing up as a teenager and your fears. And for me as a woman, I'm also a mom. So I guess that comes in different field that I have tried to, deliver whatever that I could in the writer's room. So that is me. Yeah.
All right.
Hi, my name is Syed, Azmi. Today I'm wearing the hat as a penasihat mahkamah kanak-kanak. So I work in court for children. And how is this relatable is I've done a show over all my cases called Case File Syed Azmi for TV2 about 2-3 years back. And it all involved children and child actors. Jadi when I saw Projek High Council and I was invited by a group of medical doctors and practitioners untuk discuss about it, from a child perspective punya angle. I think that's how I got drawn up by this.
So hi, my name is Ariff. I'm only 18. So currently I'm an intern at Arus. I used to be a student here, but I'm also a UNICEF Young Leaders Program Fellow, where we do a lot of like capacity building for like mental health and also education and child protection, that kind of thing. So my relation to macam the show essentially is I used to be a boarding school student. I won't disclose which boarding school per se. Those who know will know. Hi. But essentially, I just wanted to know like what was the process behind it, and based on the things that I saw, like in my school after this show aired, like I just wanted to know like did you anticipate that and that kind of thing. So that's why I'm here today.
Okay, so my first question is, I really want to know your first reaction for those penonton lah, dari segi penonton, right? Your first reaction when you watched the show, right? What did you feel about it? Like, korang rasa apa bila korang first lepas tengok?
Right, so I was watching it yesterday, binge watching with the production team, but essentially it was really interesting because some of the words that they were saying, like I've heard verbatim in real life, like it's identical, but I can't say like there aren't like, it might not be like tally with my experiences, but there might not be like the same, it might be like hyped up just for like the TV and that kind of thing. Tapi I think overall it brings up a pain point that macam ada dalam sekolah-sekolah kat Malaysia ni, cuma kita tak discuss enough. And I think through the show we are having that kind of discussion, but is it fast enough? Or macam the students who are watching it, diorang boleh fikir secara kritis and like critically think about the media that they're consuming and not like ikut balik apa.
Contoh line yang verbatim yang sama sejibik macam Ariff pernah dengar dekat sekolah.
The tagline, like I think during like the perhimpunan scene or something like that, like where they were saying like kat sini lahirnya Melayu, armada Melayu terakhir or something like that.
Wow.
Like something where in real life it's the same vibe, lebih kurang sentence structure. They just change it here and there, but overall it's the same. Another one is like how they were saying to like Form 4s, how this is like your honeymoon year, yeah, tahun bulan madu, that kind of thing. And like some of the scenes in there, I have like experienced when I was in like Form 2 and stuff like that. Yeah.
We'll watch it.
We'll unpack it later.
Okay. Azmi.
It's actually relatable bukan saja sekolah SBP. Maknanya dia because I sekolah agama asrama harian and SBP. So both kita nampak sama, sekolah asrama teknik pun sama, all girls school punya asrama pun sama. It goes everywhere. Itu satu. One of my colleague kata it's so coincidental that all the male main characters kat situ asrama penuh. You know, and I said, wait, kecuali bapa jaga kantin tu kot, you know, but all the other characters kita nampak macam berkait dengan asrama penuh. So I rasa kita cuma tak nampak that's what kita orang observe. But the best thing about this and why I gauge people to watch still, and tengok banyak kali pun tak apa, is that how parents or my age group, 45 and above, are so scared with the revelations, we call it, or so scared, and how they are more scared to see their children among them talking about it freely as if it's nothing to worry about. The toughest of the toughest will survive and all that, you know. So I think that's one thing why I didn't realize that why are you so afraid of High Council, because everybody tengah push for a second season and everybody push second season, but the top one is everybody nak push kalau girls school macam mana. So that one I leave to you guys. But then, but these are my observations and my findings lah.
Okay, so I want to know from like the creator side, right? Why of all stories, this story? That's number one. Why of all stories, this story that you want to tell, right? That's number one. And number two, how much of it was to pander to the audience? Macam, mesti audience suka tengok part-part buka baju ni. Contoh lah.
Okay, faham? Okay, number one, soalan pertama, why of all the stories? So you in a way you can see Projek High Council as a season 2 to Project Anchor SPM. I don't know if you are familiar to that. So that was the first Astro original series, and I show run that as well. One of the feedback that I got was, sekolah asrama mana macam ni? Because betul, because for Project Anchor SPM, the direction that we went for is that it's going to be idealized. It's set in Cameron Highlands. Sekolah ni sejuk. Budak-budak pakai jacket macam stylo all the time kan. So a part of me was macam, are you guys ready for the truth kak? Macam sekolah asrama tak macam tu, macam projek anchor langsung, betul. Tapi are you guys really ready for sekolah asrama macam mana? Right. And me coming from sekolah asrama penuh lelaki semua, immediately I thought, okay, we can go reality, but are you ready for it? Satu. And if you're asking me if any of that was done to pander to the audiences, I would say no. Ika would be proof to me sebab macam, of course, I work in Astro kan. So after project Anchor SPM, we had all the data when it comes to macam who were watching, apa semua. So to continue in a way kan, of course it's not the same story apa semua. So because if you are familiar with Project Anchor SPM, Project High Council is a total shift in tone, total shift in a lot of things lah. Like basically paling penting is tone. It's not you like if the project word wasn't dekat depan dua tu, you wouldn't even be able to discern that this is part of an anthology. Right? So I was actually very worried. So, but when I saw the data, a high number of viewership was actually perempuan. And it made sense because Project Anchor SPM at the core of it was a love story. Right? So I was very worried to pitch this event about, okay, I'm going to make a sequel, but I'm alienating these girls. So I was worried. So if you are asking if I was trying to pander, no, I was worried that because at the same time I need to make my ratings, right? I was worried if I'm creating something that is so different that will alienate audience, the female audience, that in a way at that point I could call my captured audience.
Do you mind sharing how many, what is the demographic of Project High Council yang tengok?
Actually, we don't know yet. For High Council, we don't know yet.
Gerak hati? Perempuan ke lelaki ni?
Oh, sebenarnya ya. But I mean, we don't need the data for that lah kan. But in the end, so that reaction, that following that craze lah, almost like Beatlemania tu, it was not something I expected at all. I was worried through and through that I'm gonna lose female audience.
I probably disagree dari awal lagi. Masa Anwari pitch, I'm like, dah lah, okay, masa it doesn't help dalam pitch deck dia tu bunch of topless guys, right? I was like, kejap, your concern is that female audience wouldn't enjoy this. I don't know, man. If anything, my concern is that kita punya fight scene kena power because that is our male audience, you know? But I think here's the thing. Immediately when Anwari mentioned that the tone is different, right? It's realistic for him to feel that we're going to lose a certain audience. Because we don't really have a show or film maybe dekat Malaysia yang ada buka-buka baju macam tu and those are underage. So takut benda tu tak appropriate. But I guess we are all wrong, you know. People actually enjoy watching that. But that's not the main selling point. The main selling point is definitely what it is, what's the story, what's the theme behind it. That is the key thing. Of course, benda-benda yang shallow tu kita terpaksa jual lah kan. But yeah, I guess that's
I will say this. One of my main strategies is to capture this demographic of really macho lelaki yang macam boys don't cry and all that, and trick them, through the trailers macam it's an action series apa semua, and then trick them. No, cerita ni cerita emo sebenarnya, because they wouldn't have voluntarily watched it. Yeah.
Actually, I have a question. Like, while I was watching the movie, the whole show, right? There's the English teacher who kept bringing up Lord of the Flies, like the book, right? Was that a theme that you purposely sewed into the story as like an Easter egg for people to pick up? Because I feel like the story of Project High Council is like there are similarities, even though it's different settings. There are similarities in terms of the philosophy behind of it and stuff like that.
Well, everything that is included in terms of academic papers or research, and Mr. Sin talked about Five Monkeys experiment, Mr. Sin spoke about Universe 25, the rat experiment, and then Pomfrida talks about Lord of the Flies. Those are the stuff, because like I think I mentioned earlier in the podcast, before we started rolling, Project High Council was also me processing what happened in my teenhood years, and so those research yang keluar dekat dalam Project High Council is actually my own findings after, not even for Project High Council. It's the things that I've learned about how the world works in a way, Lord of the Flies, and as a survivor of such an environment, I could not help but relate to what had happened to me. Five Monkeys experiment, it explains macam, I don't know why this is a tradition, but none of us do, but we're doing it. Five Monkeys experiment. Lord of the Flies, a bunch of boys, hormonal boys, trapped in an island. In a way, sekolah asrama tu is an island, right? You're contained in your own world. And then that, of course, that is what happened. Helped me make sense of what happened to me. And then Universe 25, same thing. What happened in Professor Calhoun punya research is eerily resemblant to what had happened. And I like to press on the point that had happened. Sebab there was a very deliberate reason kenapa we made it to be set in 2006 and 2007. Because in those years, we know those things were still happening. Sekarang, we don't know. Yeah.
Okay, I get it. I want to touch a bit about the impact outside of the show itself, right? Macam the unintended impact yang korang mungkin macam tak sangka benda tu akan berlaku, or things that you have seen in the real life because of Projek High Council. I just want to give an example lah. A couple years back when I was still teaching in a school in Bukit Mentajam, I teach secondary level, Form 1, Form 2, Form 3. I remember in this class, it was a very difficult class. Suddenly, this boy tiba bangun tau, pegang kertas walk towards me, look me straight in the eye, sambil jalan sambil koyakkan kertas tu tau. I macam, kau nak buat apa pula ni? So sambil jalan sambil koyakkan kertas kan. Betul-betul dia sampai kat depan I, dia balik. KL gangster. And I'm like, kutip balik sekarang, kutip balik kertas-kertas ni. Okay, so I want to know lah the impact of a show, you know, like, because this came up, because every time kita talk about current issues ke apa, we talk about like video-video bully yang baru keluar, yang people actually imitate the fight scenes in High Council, or students that I met who would just call themselves like Kapla High Council, tapi tak pernah tengok pun High Council ni. Diorang tak ada astro nak tengok. So I want to know like apa like the impact that you guys saw. So I'll start with you guys first.
I think I generally memang whatever that is a High Council, it is happening. And actually it's also happened in normal school. And most of my cases yang I dapat tahu ni pun is normal day school. Kapla pun ada, tapi dah gelak lah bila the first kapla I met in my life is a Form 2. Like, you know, and then you know, but dia memang kapla. But and it's all about power and respect. And yes, that fighting too is important to them. They actually not just imitate, they actually try to finesse it more. Yang tu pasal kadang-kadang I rasa anak-anak kita ni sebenarnya they are so bright, but they just use it in different way. But I was surprised tak ada siapa datang kata nak jadi pelakon. I expect that would be more tau. Macam semua nak jadi all those glossies and all that kan. Tapi tak ada. However, as I said lah, children yang Form 1 above, boys and girls, they tak ada siapa cakap dia cinta-cinta. And I cakap ada that love story sikit. Kasi kata, oh God, yang tu very platonic lah. Macam, they cannot kata macam, perempuan macam tu, siapa nak? You know, every word nak cakap macam tu. And I talked to about 100 kids on High Council alone. We did a competition and then they have to write to me, you know, what you think about it, what's your favorite episode, you know, semata-mata because I want to know that. But I think the most surprising is that they don't see that it's wrong. They see that it's a way. So, kita orang semua fikir, okay, anger management, versi below 21 needs to be more. Okay, sebab it's all about anger management. You know, that's how I nampak lah. Tapi and nobody nak cerita part yang macam if you have any distraught over it dekat family ke gaduh dengan ayah ke apa ke, tak siapa nak cerita bab tu lah. And then set-set yang I rasa macam Azam yang datang memang rasa macam boleh pergi asrama, which is amazing. I rasa dia kata hello.
Cerita sikit Azam tu karakter dia macam mana?
Azam ni sebenarnya is so cunningly, viciously bijak. Dia pandai hidup. Ini orang-orang yang pandai hidup, you know. And dia smart. Dia sebenarnya book smart pun ada. Semua tu. Daripada first scene dia lagi, I think semua orang dah tahu yang he just needs to survive. You know, compared to Jibam. Jibam is a character yang cerita kat orang lah. Yang macam, we call it, what do you call it in English tu?
A rat lah.
A rat, yeah, telltale. So, apa tu, and tapi tak ada siapa yang surprisingly semua budak-budak lelaki ni kenal Azam, kenal Jibang. And semua bagi tahu nasihat macam mana tak nak kena pukul, which is so nice among children. Among children below 18 bila dia cerita, kalau kau nak duduk macam ni, buat macam ni lah. In a way kan semua sayang one another sebenarnya. Yang itu yang I need to know, because kalau tak selamatlah anak-anak aku hantar kat tafiz. Semua ni how do they survive is because dalam ganas-ganas nakal-nakal budak, diorang sebenarnya sayang their peers, their roommate. That's why dorm mates are important. That's why banyak bilik yang ada bilik 2 orang, memang statistically shown lagi banyak gaduh compared to bilik dorm yang lebih ramai orang. That is by statistic lah. I think yang tu KPM boleh dapat.
What's the favourite scene among the kids yang cakap pasal High Council?
Oh, favourite scene kids favourite scene kids tu is okay, there's 2 Satu yang kuat study. They like the idea of kata-kata semangat tu. They're very much into that, you know, motivasi macam tu. Now budak-budak yang lagi satu kata macam sebenarnya gaduh tu penting. Kita kena lagi pandai gaduh. So power tu is put in that. And for the girls, dia rasa macam alah, laki, perempuan pun sama. It's not about laki perempuan. Perempuan pun macam ni juga, you know. So I rasa macam tu. And I think for parents, as I said tadi kan, dia just terus takut nak hantar pergi asrama. And and I rasa takut tu ada basis. In the end, walaupun High Council in the end kata pilihan itu salah, it's all about choices made kan. Pilihan tu salah. Tapi that one betul bila budak tu dah besar. But kalau untuk budak form 2, form 3, kata tak apalah, gaduh dulu, and then form 5 taubat macam tu, you know. So I think that is how I would take it lah, you know. But as I said, banyak lagi budak belum tengok. So we were really hoping to get more kids to watch with their counsellors. We promote every school. We even buat anugerah pelajar nakal in sekolah rendah right now to find their talents. Kalau dia pandai elastik, okay, dia pandai elastik, but dia pandai juga jadi ketua in something. So but that to me lah, I rasa this is something good because it starts a conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Ariff?
Yeah.
Ariff. You go all out without talking about the name of your school, but like, you know, I'm pretty sure you dah
Pretty sure
nampak.
just the way he speaks, the way he looks, orang tahu dah
Boleh
sekolah
agak,
apa,
boleh agak.
boleh agak
Yeah,
dah.
yeah.
Dia turun jadi 2 je.
Yeah.
Geng-geng seluar putih ni.
Yeah.
Kau
Okay.
cerita
Anyways, like High Council existed. Like it still exists. In my batch pun ada. Like, but it's the funniest thing ever because looking at them, like you wouldn't you pack them as budak nakal, but you don't really like see that they have power. But these kind of things, it's been a thing. But I just feel like certain people in the batch feel more empowered per se. Like, for example, there's the ring match. Like, maybe during your time, while you were there, that was happening. And then I have not heard, like, since I was Form 1 until like Form 5, until Projek High Council came out, that wasn't a thing. And tiba-tiba, like, the night before graduation, tiba-tiba, like, they did, like, the ring match thing. And then, like,
It didn't exist before, guys.
maybe it just like brought up balik, you know, because our teachers have been trying to like snuff like the whole High Council movement like way before the show came out. Like since we were Form 1, like, oh, janganlah ada High Council, janganlah ada High Council. I feel like as the years progressed to my batch, that kind of slowly died down. But they still had like this High Council, but it's more like their struggle to find something for themselves. Because what I noticed, the people who usually do this, they aren't the most productive people in the school. They just want a purpose, like not necessarily purpose, or like they want to feel like they are appreciated and that they are important. Because I can't lie that there are like really nice people like to me that has to me in the High Council that has done like really bad things, and I don't know somebody did like insaf ke tak, but that's like, but you can see the change. I don't know, there's like so much to unpack. The show just brought out a lot of memories, and it just like made me try to dissect it. Like the reason people are like students are trying to do this, especially in my school, is because they want to have that power. They want to feel like they're important, like they're part of something bigger, and like they have control. And I kind of empathize with that, even though it's kind of hard. And I was rooting okay, to be honest, by like middle of the show, I just hope like everyone died. I was just like so mad at that point. I was like, oh my god, when will this end? You can just ask them after this. Like,
Which episode is this?
I think like near episode like 7, 6, 7, 8. I was just like, okay, I am tired of like reliving all of this. Why don't they all just die?
Re-traumatizing. Okay.
Why don't they all just die? But that's a bit of a trauma response, I feel. But yeah, that's.
But you know, like even in psychology, how do you one of the things that is used to treat trauma is exposure therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like, especially students in my school, they lack critical thinking. Like,
Yeah.
it's not just my school. I feel like students, young people in Malaysia, they aren't taught to think critically. Like, the way our exams are structured is like, okay, you answer A, B, C. Now, answer bio pun like bullet points. You remember this je, like, what is X, what is Y. So that kind of thing.